This is a little bit... we have shorter videos now. Let's see.
Find their genitals, which have probably
What?
been fossilized due to the sheer amount of pressure it's been under for that amount of years. And no, I'm not talking about the One Piece in this instance. We all know the conclusion to that story may just be friendship.
The One Piece! The One Piece is real! Can we get much?
But no, I'm talking about a quest I've been on. A quest that has had
Yeah.
many sleepless nights, had me clawing at my eyes at the things I've seen, and secondhand cringe that has almost made me instinctively
Oh!
12-gauge shotgun. And that is the West community. More specifically, a West community for a show. I've looked at Jujutsu Kaisen, I've looked at My Hero Academia, the My Little Pony franchise, with their semen-encrusted figurines that have an AoE effect that do 2 hit points
Dude,
per
if you
second.
are
No,
masturbating to My Little Pony, you got a serious problem. Go to a mental hospital, get some help.
Put down my staff and a robe and tell you what the worst TV show / animated shows community is. With a long look at the community in this video, being self-explanatory of why it's the worst community, worse than My Academia and worse than Jujutsu Kaisen currently. And that is the Hazbin Hotel community.
When I say you are fucking 20 guys before lunch, you say, yes, Valentino. When I say you...
Not the voice breaking! Blake, why do you have to do such a good job with voice acting? Oh my god.
Got me. Yes, Val. Go.
Where's my goddamn fucking fly swatter? Where is it? Fuck!
Into the thick of it! Into the thick of it!
I hate people on TikTok. Like, I hate the TikTok meme. Like, their format. And I also hate cringe. Like, that... Why can't people be normal? Like, society has a real problem with people being normal. Like, they don't know what normal is anymore.
Community rival My Hero Academia in terms of the pure amount of secondhand cringe I got looking into the community. It was like being shocked with 1,500 volts constantly. But if you don't know what Hazbin Hotel is in general, I often get it confused with the Hell of a Boss animation because of the similar art style, but I just recently found out it's in the same universe. But a little reminder we all remember is when 10 months ago there was a small controversy where a YouTuber spent $50,000 on the animation for a music video where he decided it was his prerogative to have the plot of that music video being a self-insert of him being sexually assaulted and stalked by one of the characters of Hazbin Hotel. 50,000 for a fantasy where one of the characters loves him, and even some softcore to go along with it. They even drew him some abs. This is the community we're looking at, but there actually was a positive of that.
I like the
video
Terraria music
where
in
a
the
lot of people
background.
went to support the music that was in the music video, because it was fairly unpopular for how much of a banger it was. But that is the one and only good thing that came out of that community. But Hazbin Hotel was released in October of 2019, and only currently has 1 season to it, whilst its counterpart Hell of a Boss has 2 seasons to it. Yes, it started in 2019, and they finished in 2024, just for season 1. The only time I've seen spacing worse than that is between you and the opposite gender. But obviously animation takes time, and probably having to deal with Amazon was a hell in its own, and Hell of a Boss was used to sustain the fans over that long waiting period. But despite that fact, it still has a cult following.
With me, death from your poison! Vivian Madrano, look at me, look at me. You can kill any other character. Do not kill Angel Dust, please. He's been through enough. I want him to be happy, and whenever it's necessary. If he's the one that dies in the show, I'm not watching it anymore. I'm done. Wish that they had something to live for tomorrow. Oh!
Come on. You can't be serious. Why do they all look the same?
I hate it.
What is Hazbin Hotel about?
I hate
and
them.
what is the hook that has interested so many people and children to the point where the community is looked down upon and has a terrible reputation?
Yeah.
Well, the plot is it follows Charlie, the princess of the hell, and her attempt at rehabilitating demons to be more peaceful and to lower the population of hell, and opens a hotel hoping that the inhabitants will check out to heaven. That is the bare bones plot. But why are so many people interested in this show? Especially when it would take an entire decade to just finish the tournament arc, and with one of the creators not really taking well to criticism. But we'll get into that a bit later. But in terms of why people enjoy watching it, you have to look at what the age target range is for this animation. The age target range is 16 plus, with some people saying the age range should be 13. But wouldn't you be happy to know that most of the fans are children? Yes, the milk-sucking, happiness-reducing, money-spending little bundles of joy. Don't worry, I'm booking my vasectomy tomorrow. But this comes across as a problem, as with Hazbin Hotel and its counterpart, Hell of a Boss, are very explicit and also sexually explicit.
Adam, sir.
And for adults.
Mr. Adam, sir.
Call me Dickmaster.
With strong language and jokes that make me feel like I'm being molested through the screen. And even the more sane people in the fan
This video's
base agree,
great.
with some saying the youngest fans are 8 years old and should not be watching this type of content, and they are not old enough to mentally digest what is happening in this show. But it may be hypocritical for me to say that, as with most of my
I
generation,
would've watched
we
it,
grew up
like,
on South
10.
Park, Family Guy,
I'm gonna be honest,
American
yeah.
Dad, and the Cleveland Show if nothing else was on the TV, even though we were not of the age to be watching it. And most Hazbin Hotel fans that are under the age seem to think they've seen way worse so they can watch this show.
It's like
And
whatever.
the show is bright and colourful, so parents would probably be easily mistaken. So if you really care about what your children are watching, make sure you actually look at what they're watching. It could be plastic explosives wrapped like a new dog, but it's still plastic explosives. And even though it is aimed towards like teenagers and stuff, it's worrying to see that drawing books are available for it. Obviously made by third-party companies, but they aim the drawing book at the age of 8 to 13.
4 to
They
8,
solidify
yeah.
the opinion that people think this animation is for kids, or they just haven't done their research.
Or no one watched it.
But
Oh,
when kids are a part of a fan base,
I never
the
want to see
correlation
that.
between that media and cringe becomes stronger, as we saw with My Hero Academia becoming the fleshlight of the internet, and Hazbin Hotel probably a close second, maybe the public glory hole, as the internet has developed a stigma towards Hazbin Hotel, probably from the fans, people just thinking it's cringe, and people thinking it's just over-sexualized trash.
Oh, harder, Daddy. Son?
And to be honest, there's a slight bit of truth to that. As I've said before, the more kids you have in a fan base, the more cringe it's probably going to be. As most adults tend to keep their interests to themselves, and kids being more vocal about their interests on platforms like TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. And in most scenarios,
where they
people
end it
outside the
all.
community and sometimes in the community would view that as cringe. And I don't think kids expressing and having fun online is cringe. It's just a majority of the time they lack self-awareness, which a majority of the time the cringe comes from. But then you have the over-sexualization, and it was not hard to find in this community.
Specifically for Blake, when you, in episode 1, when you had to record the voice lines for the sex scene, for the sex tape, were you ever embarrassed when you had
Oh,
to do
God.
This person is
A simple look on a platform, I'm talking one search, and it was already staring back at me. There is so much porn, and I get that the show is aimed towards adults, something they failed at, and they mention sex a lot, like any chance they get.
Sex with me.
But there is too much. Like, it makes the My Little Pony and FNAF fans look like born-again Christians in comparison. There is not a drought here, there is an overflowing flood. We've got thirst traps, we've got animations, we've got drawings that go into the same level of depth as Picasso. Like, there's just so much, at least
Picasso.
it's a terabyte of the Rule 34 servers. But apart from the over-sexualization by the fanbase, the only other reason that people on the internet have a strong grudge against this animation seems to be due to the fact that kids are watching it once again, and people holding the opinion they are way too young to be watching a show like this. And watching the show myself, yes, I received a lethal dose of gamma radiation and need to be promptly tested with a Geiger counter. But watching it, I can see why people like it, at least for the adults.
Because, yeah.
No, not you. The animation is great, the voice acting is great. I mean, they got Keith David in it to be a little gremlin addicted to gambling.
Might just have a chance.
No.
Every motherfucker here knows what we need to do.
And to start singing about butt plugs and shit with like a fucking nymphomaniac. Half their budget was gone right
Got
there.
the guy from
and
Halo.
It was a great choice.
He was great
and
as
then you have the
lead.
other magnum opus of the entire show, which many seem to hold high in regard, and that is the music, which many are pretty phallic. But for someone that cannot sit through musicals and use it as a form of torture akin to waterboarding, I could tolerate this. So what I'm basically trying to say is the story, the whole fucking show in general, is not that bad. The only reason the internet hates it is, once again, because
Cringe.
of the fans. And the main reason that a majority of them are underage, and the internet is their little daycare, where they contribute nothing but atrocities to it. But then again, you do have some adult fans that do the same.
Like,
And the fact that
like
the
how
fact
much
it's
of the
over-sexualized as well
internet
adds to that. It's kind of
is
like the
kids,
shipping
but how much,
situation
like,
with My Academia, which was one of its downfalls. Cause
kids shouldn't be allowed on certain
other
websites.
characters that have never been in a scene before, and let alone had come out of infancy
Kids
yet,
need to be
but in this scenario, you
more
just have each
regulated,
of
let's
them
be honest.
being drawn fucking each other. And I do think this fan base is worse than My Academia, but my theory is that this show is even more popular than My Academia, or the fact that My Academia already hit its peak around 2014 to 2018, and you don't really see much My Academia cringe anymore, and Hazbin Hotel is only just hitting its peak now.
You're a loser.
Now, what else I wanted to talk about was one of the creators.
Did see,
Vienna
yep.
Medrano, which I probably just butchered, or other known as Vizzy Pop, was the original
Medrano, yeah.
creator of Hazbin Hotel and uploaded many of the pilots to YouTube where it garnered popularity. Since the success, she isn't much of an animator anymore. She's took more of a directing role in the series, but her reputation regardless is on the same lines as her creation. She's been known to not accept criticism as well, on everyone's favourite platform, Twitter, with some
Wow,
rants
it's
being
Twitter!
called tantrums by her own fans, and some
Wow.
actually preying on her
We got another
downfall
moron.
due to the
Doesn't matter if
fact
she
that
created
when
it, it's a
people
moron.
criticize her, she apparently weaponizes her audience against the people criticizing her, but I could find no evidence of this. The only thing I could find was a controversy between her and the FNAF creator, where she commented on some of the donations he was making, and that's it.
So?
But Twitter being Twitter, the FNAF creator had his details leaked, and apparently Vivzy was responsible for this, but she wasn't. In fact, his details were leaked far before she even made that tweet, and it was in fact her details that were leaked by the Five Nights at Freddy's fanbase, because she was saying some unsavory things about the creator. Another criticism piled against her is that she's into zoophilia and bestiality, all sourcing from artwork she made about 10 years ago, something she publicly denounces and has apologized for in recent years, and no longer draws those type of things. But the one thing you can say is true about her is her perception towards criticism. There are a long list of tweets where she talks about criticism and how
If you
she
can't
can
take
indeed
criticism,
take it,
get off
and
the
that she
internet.
hates that people say she
Let's
can't
be honest,
take it.
right?
But a long list of tweets and replying to almost all the comments, I'm sorry,
I
buddy,
get criticism almost every
kinda
day,
proves their
posting
point.
videos.
And another
So?
controversy involving criticism was when one of the creators of Digital Circus took a
So?
poke at her saying,
Like,
"No,
I don't care."
this is our show if it was made by the creator of Hell of a Boss." It was a joke about how there's so much swearing and so much references to sex, and that's it, even though that some people on the Digital Circus were friends with her and had worked on projects together. She responded by blocking the person tweeting it and saying, you know, she hates that people keep saying this about her creation. I think she just needs to get off Twitter. That's it. Remember when the creator Master Uguay was doing the same thing, like responding to every piece of criticism that was posted about him, even commenting on my video, and now with this situation with KSI where he just can't seem to let it go. Those are the times you take yourself off of Twitter. If it affects you negatively, take yourself off the platform. But yeah, in conclusion,
Wow,
the show
it's
isn't
almost
that
like he's
bad.
right.
The music's actually
You know how much I
pretty
use
good,
Twitter?
but
I
that's
really
coming from
ever
someone
do
that
use
only
Twitter.
listens to Donald
I know
Glover. The only
parents use
downside
Twitter,
is
but I don't
the
use
fans
Twitter.
And the fact that most of them are underage, even though it's an adult show. That's very tricky because we did the same when we were kids. At the end of the day, it's down to the parents. And the creator seems to have a terrible reputation, even though most of the controversies I've seen are misunderstandings. But the one misunderstanding I hate is that when I say like and subscribe, YouTube voice recognition still does not pick up my voice and my accent. But yeah.
Good video. Let's move on.